Are you feeling guilty because of others? Guilt is an emotion that's rarely talked about in self-development, while it is the easiest emotion to stir up, to manipulate, and deceive someone else. Here's why.
An attached meaning to your life, but that meaning is yours and yours alone. It's not objective. It's not an absolute.
One thing that will shock you is that the stronger the relationship, the closer you are to that person, the more effective the guilt trip will be. Why? Because you've invested all this time with them, emotional energy with them, those commitments, and so then you're more afraid to lose them. So when they use the guilt trip on you, you're like, oh, I didn't mean that, man. I didn't mean to do this, man. Yo, let's stay friends. And I used to fall prey to guilt trips a lot when I was younger, when I was, 17 years old and stuff like that. So what's the goal of guilt tripping? People guilt trip so then you can stop. So you can stop following your own goals. So you follow their goal. And then they guilt trip you like, well, I've given you the invitation. I reserved that seat just for you and now I can't even trust you anymore. Their goal is that you come to the dinner. Your goal is to stay home because you have other work-related things to do, whatever shit you're gonna do. What are the consequences of guilt? Guilt tripping. It builds resentment in the relationship. It builds this undertone of confrontation. It turns into passive aggression, into more guilt tripping, more manipulation. So that's why it's important to address it as soon as it arises. Here are a list of things to never, ever feel guilty about, and whatever anyone that guilts you about those things, well, they can go and fuck themselves. Literally. Or a cactus in the asshole. So here's the list. Never feel guilty about your own strengths. Someone makes you feel guilty of like, well, you can't just like pick up girls like that, dude. It's fucking creepy. Make you feel guilty for being good at something. If you're being put down for such things, for your skills, for your abilities, never listen to them. Have no shame and no guilt in feeling confident and being confident and asserting what you want. And anyone who steps on top of that, they're full of shit. They're doing that just because they don't have any strengths. So they want to put other people's strengths down. Never feel guilty about your positive personality traits. If you have a certain type of humor, let's say the awkward type of humor or the offensive type of humor, never feel guilty for these. If you're not hurting anyone in particular and you know that, hey, it's something positive, it's not meant to attack anyone, then never feel guilty for this. Never feel guilty for not caring about other people's problems. That's a tricky one actually, because maybe in your family, your close friends, they have personal problems. And then sure, you want to show empathy for them. But as soon as this empathy, caring, steps on top of your own happiness, your own priorities, your own responsibilities, your own productivity, you should drop it. And then some people will think, well, you're uncaring. How do you dare do that? They'll throw some guilt bombs on you. Be like, well, the same way you're imposing yourself on me right now. Don't return the guilt trip, but, acknowledge it. Be like, hey, listen, you're kind of doing that to me right now, and I don't appreciate it. I have other things to do, whatever. Never feel guilty about taking action towards your goals, towards a positive direction. If you're taking action, you're bettering yourself. Never feel guilty about anyone trying to tell you, well, you can't do this. You're inconsiderate. What happens when you want to become more confident, more attractive, more, your circle of friends only play video games and you tell them, hey, listen, I'm going to go to the gym from now on. And they're like, well, why don't you play with us, man? Like usually we always play video games on every Sunday afternoon and you're not coming this week and it's been 2 weeks now. They're making you feel bad for bettering yourself. Never feel guilty about it. Never feel guilty about asking stupid questions. Those questions, right? In class, never feel guilty in your curiosity, in wanting to learn, right? There are no stupid questions. And the last one, never feel guilty about saying no. A big one. Never feel guilty for saying yes to yourself first and then no to other people. When you don't want to go to a specific event, say no. Have no guilt in rejecting other people. Anyone who tells you that, oh, you can only say yes, you're not allowed to say no, they're stepping on top of you. How to live guilt-free. As I say in every single one of my videos, know your values. If you know what you want and you know what your goals are, then you'll know when people are stepping on top of them, and then you'll know like, okay, they're trying to guilt trip me right now, so I'll step away from it. Another way is study manipulation, power dynamics. I'll leave a link to the book that really helped me with manipulation, power dynamics, and people using tricks on you and stuff like that. It's called the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. It's not exactly about guilt tripping, but it lays the entire foundation of what people say and do, to get their way, to raise the power. And people use guilt, some people use guilt tripping, casting smoke on other people's eyes, just so they can get away with, get you to do the things that they want you to do. Another tip is remove all shoulds from your life. Anytime you say should to something like, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have been nicer to this person, I should have said yes to their event, now they're gonna hate me, now I'm gonna lose this friend. Anytime you say should, you're denying reality. You're saying no to reality and you're refusing to accept the truth. There is no should, there only is. Oh, I should have gone to that party. Well, what did you do? You stayed home. So that is what is. Anything that you did at a particular time that, could have made you feel guilty, well, you did it with the knowledge that you had at that time. So then whoever makes you feel guilty for it, well, you did everything in your power. And anyways, you learned from it. So who cares? Should or shouldn't, you learn from it. So next time, so some practical tips to end the video. Journal about it. Anytime there's a specific event that you're feeling guilt about, or someone's throwing some shit at you, write about it. What was this event about? What are they making you feel bad about? Do they have some truth? Do they have some say in it? And what's false? What's just accusations that have nothing to do with your values? When are they stepping on top of your strengths, of your positive qualities, of your drive for bettering yourself? Write it all down. Another thing, meditation always helps clearing the mind, and work on yourself. That's it. Make the vow to yourself. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to click on the bell and subscribe so you receive all my videos that I post every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And leave your comments below because I read all of them. And the best suggestion, probably make a video about it. So peace. Thumbnails are done. Woo, super light, super light. Let's dim that a little. All right.